In this final lesson, you'll learn how you can build websites even faster with Frames. So you might already know, but Frames is another product from the developers of ACSS, and it's designed to work in conjunction with ACSS. In fact, Frames won't work at all unless you have ACSS installed. I'm going to leave you to read the website's marketing messaging about how much time and money you'll save, and I'll just cut to the chase. Frames is basically a collection of pre-designed wireframe templates, or layout sets, or design sets, whatever you want to call it. You can insert them into your own Bricks sites with one click. All the layout templates are all built with maximum accessibility in mind, and because they're built with ACSS, all the templates take advantage of its consistency, scalability, and future maintainability. I have to say, I used some Frames templates as a starting point on my own site rebuild recently on 1 or 2 pages, and it was majorly helpful. If I needed a bit of design inspiration, I could just browse some pre-made designs and add them with one click. It meant I could build out section designs a lot faster. It is great for fast wireframing and prototyping. But even better, once you've added the templates, you're practically done with the finished design anyway. They just need a few tweaks, because all the templates automatically follow your own site's colour and spacing. This isn't going to be an in-depth lesson on Frames, it's more of an introduction, just so that you can check it out further yourself. Once you have a license, you come to Bricks Settings, into the Templates tab, and down to Remote Templates. You pop in this remote template URL, and in the password field, you pop your own license key. This then gives you access to all of the Frames templates in your Bricks template library. Note, you can only have one URL in this field, so if you're pulling remote templates from somewhere else, like for the ACSS style guide template right at the start of this course, well, you'll have to remove that and replace it with the Frames remote templates URL instead. The great news is the same style guide template comes with Frames anyway, so it's all good. One other thing that you need to set, actually, I'll come to the General tab. You need to enable SVG uploads for administrators, otherwise images will break when you import the templates. All right, save the settings. Oh, also, sorry, definitely, just one more thing. Before this recording, I created a quick nav menu, just so that we have a menu to play with later. Take note especially of that book a call link on the end. You'll catch up with him again later on. Okay, now we're ready. Let's add a new page, just for a quick demo. I'll save the page and edit it with Bricks. So let's say we just want to build something really quickly. Maybe we want to build a working wireframe to get something in front of a client fast. Like all templates, we access those in the template library. This time though, we come to Remote Templates. So here are all the Frames templates. They're adding more and more all the time. You can see they're all very much wireframe style, and that's on purpose. They don't have any colours or fancy styling because these templates will automatically take on whatever colours and styles you already have set in ACSS from your colour palette and typography and spacing settings. And then to find what you want, you just use these filtering and search tools here. Like bundles, they're like use cases on a site, so you can filter to see templates that are backgrounds, blog, contact, content, CTAs, FAQs, etc. You can also filter by these tags as well. Or template type, you've seen these already lots of times. Headers, footers, entire single pages, just individual sections. And of course, you can just search here as well. All right, let's start by adding a hero section. So I'll come down the list of bundles. Hero sections, there we go. And here we have a whole range of hero headers. I will admit these template previews don't look great, and that is pretty much down to Bricks itself. I think Bricks could seriously improve how they preview templates in the library. But anyway, you can still preview with the preview icon here, and then they get opened in a new tab for you to check it out properly. Okay, so that one's a hero section for a blog page. We don't want that. You can see here, if you hover over them, gives you a bit more info, like this is actually a testimonial section. Not sure why it's in the hero headers. This next one's a squeeze page or landing page hero. And yep, this one's for a blog. Let's have a look down. What about this one? Let's preview that. Yeah, that's pretty good. So I'll come and insert the template. Actually, before I do, make sure that you enable import images. That way, it'll pull through any accompanying images. I just want to warn you, you have to check this every time you add a template. Now we can import the template. If you see this screen, this template contains a theme style, would you like to import it? Just choose yes. You usually see that the first time that you import anything. And here it is, one hero section, done. Well, not quite. You'd have to tweak the styles to how you want it, of course. But see in the structure, you can see all the elements are very clearly labeled, so you know what's doing what. See how each element has a class, like this one, FR Hero Hotel. So you can spot all the frames class names because they all start with the FR prefix. That's nothing to do with the FR units in CSS Grid. So let's say that we wanted to make the paragraph text a bit bigger. Well, you could just select the class. That is FR Hero Hotel Lead. Lead is just a name for the first leading paragraph. It comes from newspaper terminology. Remember newspapers? And then with the class selected in typography, we could just add a text size variable to the class. Or these buttons. So I'll select the first button. So the first one has a class of button white. So I could just remove that class, make it, say, button primary instead. And obviously you just replace the background image in the featured image element by just browsing in your media library. Let's keep going. I'll add another section. Before we do, see how in the structure I currently have this image element selected? If I leave it selected and then go and insert a template from the library, it's going to drop the template directly below this element in the structure. So the new section template will be inside this hero section. We don't want that, obviously, so it's always best just to select a section first. Any section will do. We only have one here anyway. That way, the new section template won't be nested inside it. All right, back to the template library. Into remote templates again. Check import images again, don't forget. Okay, how about we add a content section? How about a nice simple section like this one down here? Content section alpha. Give it a quick preview. Yeah, that's nice as an intro section. So let's come back and insert that. Let's give this a preview. Yeah, that's a great starting point. And if we look in the structure, you can see our two new sections here. You'll notice that Frames names the templates with the phonetic alphabet, like Alpha, Beta, Hotel, Foxtrot. It seems that they group templates in collections, like there are Alpha FAQ sections, Alpha pricing sections, Alpha hero sections, all Alpha. You can mix and match though. I don't particularly pay attention to which collection a template is from, just whether it meets my needs or not. Let's do another. What about a pricing table? Import images, yes. Maybe this time I can just search with the word, pricing. Here's one that I used on my own site actually, pricing grid delta. I'll get rid of the structure for a second so we can see what's going on. Okay, well, you'll see here that this doesn't seem to have our usual section padding. There's no spacing anywhere around this section. Let's come back to the structure. Well, notice here that this is actually a container. It's not a section at all. So you're meant to put this container inside an existing section. That's okay. So I'll select it, right-click, choose to wrap, slide across the section, and now this container is inside a section. I could give this section a background color now. I'm just going to pop a background color class on it for speed. Maybe BG. Let's go with light trans 20. Preview that. And yeah, obviously it needs a bit of further work, but this is a massive starting point to work from. Let's test a few things out. Okay, I'd like the hover hand cursor when I hover over these blocks, just so that it seems like the block is a link. Actually though, if I come to view this on the front end, rather than just in preview, there's the hand. It seems you have to be viewing the actual page to see it. Also, see how the price blocks animate when you hover? If you don't like that, that's easy to change. Let's do that. Back to the page. So I'll select one of the blocks. That's this one. It's pricing card delta. So each one of these is a card with padding and a background color. Now I'll select the class to edit it further. See down in CSS. I don't want to get bogged down in how animations work, so we could just remove this and the animation is gone. But this transition could be helpful. It eases any changes to this block over 0.3 seconds. So let's add a hover background color instead. For this, I can just come up to the States menu up at the top left and then put us into hover editing mode for this pricing card. Then into background. And let's go with shade medium. No, too dark. Shade light. That'll do for now. I'm going to now clear the hover editing mode. You usually have to save the page and refresh it to stop the canvas showing the hover styling. Let's preview again. Yeah, that's nice. You see the hover state kind of eases in a bit, which is a nice effect. Now hang on, see how this entire card is clickable? What's going on there? Let's come back. I'll select the card again. Remember back in the main course how we made an entire block clickable by setting the HTML tag to the A link tag? Well, you can see that's not what's happening here, is it? What the Frames team have done here for absolute best accessibility is make this block actually into a list item, because these are technically a list of prices, and then the entire wrapper of these list items, let's find that. That's this one. And if we come over, you can see the HTML tag for this wrapper is actually a UL tag, or unordered list. If you know a bit of HTML, you'll know what that means. If you don't worry. But the upshot is, the entire card isn't clickable by setting the link HTML tag on it. And that's because, actually, it turns out that that's not the 100% best method for accessibility. I'll tell you what's happening here. The link is actually on the heading element. And then there's some fancy CSS going on that is expanding that link out to cover the whole block. So see, with a heading element selected, here's the link. You can set whatever link you like, doesn't matter. But look up at the classes. See this one, clickable parent? Well, this is an ACSS class that we've not seen before, and it automatically makes its nearest parent element into a link. So you can stick this class on any heading like we have here, or a link, or some text, or anything you like, and it'll automatically expand that link out to the entire wrapper. Clever, isn't it? Okay, in the words of the great Steve Jobs, just one more thing. What about we add a header? Okay, back into templates. Oh, don't forget again, before we insert the next template, make sure that a section is selected in the structure. We don't want the header being stuck inside the pricing section, do we? No, we don't. Right, now into templates. Remote templates. Import images. And in the bundles, let's drill down to headers only. Now these previews are particularly unhelpful, I would say. Well, let's try header delta. Yeah, that's great. In fact, it's got a separate call to action button, which could be really helpful. So let's insert that template. Here it is. Let's drag it back up to the top where it belongs. So obviously you'd have to replace the logo image. You'd also have to style the nav menu element how you like it. But I want to quickly show you what's going on with this button because it's a little bit more complex, although it's actually quite straightforward once you know what's happening. You see, if we open up the structure, notice logo, nav menu, where's the button? Well, in terms of accessibility, it's not great to have a separate button element because it's actually just a book a call link and it's just another item in the site's navigation. It's the last item in the list. Plus, in the mobile version of your menu, that item can still be just a normal link, like all the others. See here on this nav menu element, it says CSS tab. That means go and check out the CSS tab. So let's select the class first so that we're editing the class. Down into the CSS tab. And this bit of CSS here is the thing that is automatically turning the last link in the nav menu into a button and positioning it over to the right. Let me just close this structure down. So what you'll probably want to do first is change some of these variables at the top of the CSS. See that these are just our color variable names. So for button color, you might want to make that primary instead. And the hover color could be primary, hover. And if you wanted to, you could tweak every aspect of the styling down here as well. These variables are all just coming from your ACSS button settings, but you can just override any of them here with whatever you like. I just wanted to show you this because you do occasionally have CSS like this for times where Frames needs to make things more accessible or provide you with some fancy functionality. But it's not bad, is it? In just a few minutes, we have a working wireframe, and not only that, but we're already a lot of the way towards the finished design. Just need to make a few tweaks here and there, and we'll have a nicely designed page ready to go. Okay, so that's it for this little course on ACSS. I hope you found it useful. I would love your feedback. You see, knowing what you've found helpful and what you think could be improved helps me improve future training for you. In the meantime, enjoy building with bricks and ACSS.